Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all the men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on Cake Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. As you can hear from the acoustic, I'm not in my studio. Guess where I am? I am here at the training center, at the Kingman-force-on-force training center. It's after hours. Officially, we are not open yet. We will do our grand opening exactly September the 17th at 12 p.m. We're going to have the media and everybody are welcome. Everybody is welcome who wants to come here. But the beautiful thing, if you are even, let's say, maybe from Sweden, or maybe from Germany, maybe from Italy, or maybe just from another state, or maybe you even live in Mojave County, you don't want to drive here to Kingman. By the way, we are exactly at 3001 North Stockton Hill Road. Guess what? All you have to do, you go to kingman-force-on-force.com and you can watch the event of this, let's say, grand opening on the internet. Yes, we're going to start to broadcast from here, or even better, webcast. So much that the idea of this training center, Kingman-force-on-force, is not just to train local people in different type of disciplines of self-defense. And by the way, I didn't mention the word martial arts. We don't do martial arts because we are not here for art. I can do art when I paint. This is about death or life. It's about trying to share vital information with law-abiding people, regular people who want to learn how to defend themselves and their families. So what we will do, we will give this opportunity to our locals in Kingman or Mojave County to learn a lot of interesting, let's say, skills, from the empty hand real-life course, or to edge weapons using knives or axes. Of course, then we go to other different type of styles, like we have what is called street kickboxing. By the way, this is not a typical Muay Thai, tournament kickboxing that you do in the ring. This is about street kickboxing. We'll go more into details. So, and then we go, of course, firearms. And we have a lot of different ways to train with firearms, not just like normally you would do on target. Yes, we also go to the range and we shoot at what we call targets. But the idea is to do force-on-force, realistic scenarios, where normally you cannot really ever do at the range. So we specialize in airsoft, where you can really practice how to shoot at each other while somebody is attacking you, and different other things, like, for example, our virtual range simulator. But before I get there, let me introduce this gentleman that is, I've been having the honor to spend time with him at least the last month. And I believe that there are no coincidences. There are plans. Sometimes there are signs that we don't see because we don't want to see them. But sometimes if you follow the path, you realize that nothing happens by accident. A few years ago, I think about probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing one of my peaceful protests in the streets of Kingman. I was doing a 24 hours of fasting in front of the county supervisor meeting, exactly for one of our state legislators, at least one of his former state legislators. I don't even want to bring back now who was. I don't care. That's not the point. But, I was spending the night there, and I was somehow using the opportunity to exercise my First Amendment with another person, by the way. It's a great lady, Bonnie, Bonnie from Kingman, who spent all night with me. And while we were spending the night, talking and waiting for the sunrise, I met an interesting gentleman that he didn't look like, with an accent like a local, like me. I don't have the accent from Kingman. My accent is kind of far away. So the gentleman was kind of interesting because, like myself, was coming from another country. So we started to talk a little bit and exchange a little bit our background. And I was very fascinated about his background. It wasn't exactly the typical guy you meet in Kingman. So anyway, and then pretty much was it. About 5 years later, I guess, I was looking, because I'm always looking for interesting people who can bring their experience to my projects that I'm trying to do, like this, for example, training center, Kingman-force-on-force. So I was looking for a Tai Chi instructor. And guess what? A friend of mine, that by the way is the son of my friend, lady friend Bonnie, he said, hey, I know the guy. His name is Keo. So, wow, who is Keo? Don't you remember? You met him already. So, yes, I remember. So anyway, funny thing, I met again with Keo. So we started to talk again, and guess what? Even learning more about his experience. And today I'm very happy and proud that I have with me at this facility, Kingman-force-on-force, Keo as the main self-defense instructor for empty hands, edge weapons, and of course also Tai Chi. His background is kind of unique. And I tell you, he's more than just an instructor, because what I say, everybody can be an instructor and learn the certification. I think what the most important thing we have as human beings is our experience as a human being. Anybody, I believe that, older than 30, he can start to have that type of journey behind his back. If you appreciate the learning from mistakes, you bring that experience. So the man is not a kid anymore. He's almost 70, even he looks younger. But also he has a very interesting background, because when it comes down to self-defense, it wasn't a sport for him. He grew up, unfortunately, in an environment that wasn't peaceful. It was an environment, unfortunately, with destruction, violence. And sometimes to go through that, you must become violent too, otherwise you will not live through that. And don't get me wrong, I know that you're not going to ever be the same person you were. But the point is that Mr. Keo is here with us, and he can share the things he learned as a human being and also as a fighter in this case. But let me introduce directly Mr. Keo to you, because I think you're going to like at least his accent for sure, like mine, kind of different. Mr. Keo, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good. So tell me a little bit, Mr. Keo. I already know your story, of course. We got you. By the way, if you want to see his photo, you can go to www.kingman-force-on-force.com. You go to the link called Instructors, and you can see Mr. Keo exactly, also more details. But let me give you the microphone so you can talk a little bit about who you are, where you were born, your background, and normally you also say to your students when they start the class. Go ahead.
Yes, I was born in a country called Burma at the time. It's called Myanmar right now. And it's on the border of Thailand, and I also had roots in northern Thailand, and we speak Thai language, a dialect of Thai language. And when I was born, a lot of political problems started to come into the country. The war started, insurgency against the federal government, because they abolished the democratic process, and they became socialist. So as I grew up in close to war, and I joined the insurgency and also fought against the Marxist government for 7 years.
How old you were when you joined this resistance?
I was around 20 at the time, yes.
That's not a typical, day for the regular young man, especially in this country now at 20, they still live with mom and dad, you know that. I mean, that was pretty rough, I'm sure. Maybe you had dreams before all this happened, you wanted to do something, you wanted to study. What you were doing before all this civil war started?
Before the civil war started, I was studying, and I actually talked to my father, and he said, you have to be independent before you go and join politics, because it's part of politics. When you fight, you become a politician, or you become a fighter, which involves politics. He said you should be mature first. So I tried to study, but by that time, I already trained and fought in the jungle for 1 year. So I came to America and tried to study. I couldn't. My mind was not there anymore when you have been in war and training.
And you done more than 1 day, by the way. You told me 7 years.
Yes, and after I was in America for 1 year, I couldn't study, so I went back and then fought there for 6 more years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because, I really believe there are trauma. I mean, even some people may live from outside that don't look so much. That's what they call post-traumatic stress. Yes. And only God knows what you see, what you face, your friends, your life itself. People have nightmares that the rest of their life, they're hard to remove, So, and you come back in a normal society, you can function very well.
It is very hard, but I have a good background. When I was growing up, I practiced martial art. I practiced in many styles when I was a student in St. Paul High School in Myanmar, Rangoon. After the school was nationalized because of the socialist government, it became state school number so and so. And but even then, we still have some liberty to train in martial arts. I train in Aikido, but I also train in Chinese Kung Fu, Southern style. It's called Choi Li Foot, which is a more long range, whereas Wing Chun is more famous and more for short range. Yeah.
I see. So anyway, the change happened in front of your eyes. You were born in a country that was some sort of a democratic process, right? I mean,
at that time, yeah, when we grew up, but then, when I was in 1962, the government suddenly changes. 58 first, it changes, and then 62, they consolidate their arms, their armed forces.
They took power with violence, with soldiers, or like a coup?
Right. In 62, they took power. It's a coup. They really consolidated the power. In 58, they start one coup first, but they didn't consolidate. They couldn't control the government because of finance. Yeah.
But it all starts somewhere. They're all like little crackers, and then finally the fires start to spread out. I look at America right now. I came 20 years ago after you came before me, and I start to notice now a very dangerous trend. The last 10 years at least, I say at least the last 5. For sure the last couple, since President Trump is in the office, there is an organized movement. Finance, by the way. These people are not spontaneously growing out of the trees. They are paid. Somebody, like you said, behind. There is always somebody with a money bag. Otherwise, they don't go on the street. But they're really now going to suppress the basic human right that we have in America. It's called freedom of speech. If they think that you don't fit their agenda, if you believe in other system, their socialistic nightmare or utopia, or they want to call it, they beat you up. Or at least they try to use violence. And they start to go now dressed with red mask. They go on the streets, they break glasses, they break shops, they go after individual people that they try to peacefully exercise their rights. So they call themselves Antifa. They're supposed to be anti-fascism. Instead, they're real fascism. Even technically, it doesn't make fascism or communism. It's the same idea. Government is the God, and you as slave. You have no rights. You must somehow serve the community, the global, or at least the collective. So I see something very scary, that what's happening right now, especially with the youth, because they all start from the youth. The youth are easy to manipulate, to brainwash, and then they start to grow, and they become the new leadership in this country. So do you see any trend? Did you notice anything that reminds you, maybe when you were growing up in Myanmar, what's happening right now in America?
Yes, I can see the trend, but also the social, moral is spiraling down because of a lot of people, they get hooked on drugs, mainly drugs, many type of drugs.
And I think, as I said, there is a reason why too. You can control better a population that is weak and is also under the influence. They have no desire to fight back, and more important, they don't care.
Yes. They are weak in person. That's why they become addict. And they are very easy to manipulate once you become addict, because,
So anyway, so you came back after 6 years. After 1 year, you go to America, and then you came back to your country to fight.
Right.
And then at that point, you say, maybe there is nothing more I can do, right?
Yes, we tried very hard, because we were facing against the government who play both sides of the world. They were helped by Western world, they were helped by communist world, so we couldn't progress that much.
And you realize that in most of these communist revolutions, like the Bolshevik revolution, like Russia, for example, they're always the bankers. People think it's just some bunch of, peasants or waking up. No, they're always financed by big corporations or bankers.
Yes.
They want to create this sort of a system where there is this continued fight. And then, of course, they create this, they finance both sides. Like Vietnam, the same bankers, they were financing the North Vietnam and the South Vietnam. and our soldiers, they were dying meanwhile.
Right.
talking about death, probably something you don't want to talk but you saw that with your eyes. I mean,
yes, it is in the same area at the same time as the Vietnam War, but it spilled over to Laos, Cambodia, to Myanmar, to northern Thailand, and I was involved in those wars for 7 years. And because of my experience, the Thai army plus some Thai friends, they introduced me to the Albanian king in exile, and then I went to work for him for 5 years. Yeah.
So you went from the let's say the Orient all the way to the Europe now to try to support
Yes, he was trying to. At that time, Albania was controlled by the Communist Albanian Party. Enver Hoxha is the strongman, and he wants to take over Albania back, and he needs somebody to train his army.
Wow.
That's when he, we talked, and then I told him I would work for you for 5 years.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, kind of interesting lifestyle, And then what happened from there? You went to another place, another continent.
Yes, after we were training in Spain, the political change, the political climate, it became more democratic, and we were training in explosive, we were shooting in a small finca, and so we had to get out of Spain. And we were kicked out of Spain, and Juan Carlos, who is his friend, gave us a plane, and we fly to Rhodesia at the time.
Wow.
Yes.
That's another world completely. I mean, it's still jungle. I mean, it was jungle in South Africa?
Yes. Rhodesia was deep in war against the Marxists also,
Because people forget, all these movements, like, for example, the South Africa movement right now that is in power, these are all Marxist regimes. I mean,
they were helped by Marxists, yes.
I mean,
they were helped by Russia and China.
Don't get me wrong, apartheid I think was wrong because, people should be, all humans supposed to be the same. But the point is, from that one, they didn't fought for equality or for freedom or for human rights. They fought for another type of racism. Right now, all the white farmers, for example, I had on my show just a couple of weeks ago, there is like a continuous wave of violence all against the white farmers. They go there, they kill them, they rape them, and more important, they want to confiscate their properties without even compensation. So you see, the Marxist counter-revolution of whatever they call themselves, unfortunately, everything that is Marxist is always about violence because it's not about free will. It's not about freedom. It's always they want to use violence to get what is yours because they think they're right. So tell me about Rhodesia at the time. How long did you stay there?
We were there from 78 to 80.
Wow, a couple of years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah. What is the difference between Rhodesia, for example, and Myanmar? Is it the same type of weather or a little drier?
I would say the weather is about the same, but Rhodesia is a little bit dry in some places, but they also have jungle, wet places in the valleys. And the only difference is there's a lot of animals, there's a lot of wildlife. So
you got food there at least.
We got a lot of food, and I spent a lot of time hunting because we weren't really involved in war. We were trying to train our own people, the Albanians and my soldiers.
So you were mostly like a consultant, try to train,
Right. But it didn't happen because the big powers don't want us to get involved.
Yeah.
We were like wild cards. They don't want us,
So I also know that when you were in Rhodesia, at least you went to South Africa, you started to work with the South African army, right?
Yes. After Rhodesia became Zimbabwe, after Mugabe took over the government, we had to get out. So, in fact, I stayed at least one or 2 weeks in outside Salisbury. It's called Harare now. Mm-hmm. And I had to be sneaked out by some policemen. Yeah. And we drove to South Africa.
Because you don't look very South Africa like me. I wouldn't look with my accent and my face, yes. I would stick out immediately, right?
Yes, my boss, the king, and a lot of people, they already left. And I left later with all the files, with important stuff.
I see. So anyway, and then from there you went to South Africa. What happened there?
Yeah, when I went to South Africa, I could see he wasn't progressing in his fight against the Albanian communist. So I said goodbye to him, and then I was trying to survive, and I ended up in the South African Special Forces 5 Reconnaissance for 2 years.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, even to join there, because sometimes, not everybody is welcome. I mean, they don't just say, okay, come in. join.
No, it's very hard to join. With me, it's just my fate, I guess. I met a woman, and the woman had a boyfriend who was in the South African Special Forces, and through that, I got the green light.
I see.
From one woman to his boyfriend.
I remember it wasn't about just, that was okay. Always you need somebody to at least introduce yourself. But the idea is you really went through already a real stuff. It was even just a guy going through basic training or even regular training. You went through part of your life. You grew up in war zone. Yes. So that, I think, is kind of a very, if I was a soldier, if I was an army, I would like to have soldiers already who went to war. That's important.
Yes, I already had some experience in fighting in Asia and Europe, but in South Africa, it was a different type of war. Sometimes it could be bush war, sometimes it's a desert war, because they were fighting in Angola and Southwest Africa.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, very interesting. As I said, this is why I'm bringing all this up, listeners, because what I'm trying to share here, I believe that beside money, people say, oh, how much you're worth? Money, you can buy money. Money, you can make money. Money, it's easy. What I think it's not easy, it's who you are inside, your human capital of knowledge, experience. That's something you cannot buy. You need to live through, if you're lucky to live it through. Many people don't make it that. So that's why I'm really happy to have Mr. here at Kingman-force-on-force, because when we want to share with you the skills to defend yourself in every situation, doesn't matter if it's with a knife, if it's with a rock, or with your empty hand. This is not just about knowing the moves. This is about understanding the mindset. Try to understand what really means go through violence and survive and hopefully win and come back home safe. So, and also from the human point of view, forget about just the tactical or the technical techniques how to defend yourself. When you have in front of you a man that comes from another reality, that can even share part of his experience, even just opinions, because listen, sometimes we have young people around here in America, they grew up in a very spoiled environment. They have no idea what it means to be in war. They have no idea what means also the tragedy of war. Sometimes people like to say, oh, a bomb what? What means to go to war is not a video game. You lose friends, you lose family, you lose your life. More important, you think just because we are here in this country, war is somewhere else in some country that we cannot even pronounce. But when war comes to our shores, you have an idea what it means to be invaded, to run for your life, to be on a list. I know because my grandfather told me war stories when it was World War II in Italy. People were living in the mountains. People were living underground. Because if you were on the list, you were going to get killed. They took all your properties and they were going to kill you or put you in the camps. So the point is wars are never good. These are not movies. These are not video games. In the same way, you must understand that when we go through a violent confrontation or a situation like long terms like you did, you must find that instinct, primordial surviving instinct, that somehow can make us survivors and winners. That's why I think your experience is so important. It is more than just learning how to kick and punch or bite or elbow. It's about the mindset of somebody who saw the atrocity of violence and try now to avoid it, because our spirit in the school, in this training center, is to avoid violence. We don't want violence. If we can avoid it, it's always the best fight. And then if we have to go for it, we want to win. So I'm very glad. I believe there was no coincidence, wasn't meant to be. We met again after 5 years. And I would like you, everybody out there, as the opportunity, come Monday the 17th of September at 12 p.m. here in Kingman, 3001 North Stockton Hill, Kingman-force-on-force. We will have a press conference for the media, but also we will invite everybody, every person who is curious, even just to say, Mr. Keo, what type of class can I do with you? How can I train? Or what could, even just say hi. Okay? I think this is a very unique opportunity for the Mojave County residents to have a man like Mr. Keo to meet them and just say hi and maybe talk to him. So I think I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that. Anything you want to say about also your specific training? Because you have a lot of things. I was looking here, by the way, look at this. We have on the wall a beautiful photo of you and different type of certifications. For example, we talked about already when you were trained by the Thai Special Force in jungle and mountain warfare, and you fought for about 7 years in Myanmar. Then you have also certified Tai Chi, and help me out with the name because I'm terrible in Chinese.
Chen Xiaowang.
Is a Grand Maestro, right?
He's the Grandmaster from China, but he emigrated to Australia, and he did a 1 month seminar in Argentina. That's when I went there, but I already know the Tai Chi form. I went there to perfect it, to perfect under the original Grandmaster.
And tell me a little bit, because, I was very ignorant about Tai Chi, and I'm still ignorant, I'm learning, but I know I learned a new thing. There are different styles, and your style is the Chen style. What does it mean?
Right. Chen style has more hard and soft, whereas the other style, they practice it very soft, mainly for health. But Chen, it is for health as well as the moves are, you can see there are some for self-defense. Mm-hmm. So it is practiced in a hard and soft way.
Yeah, so it's also for like almost propedeutical for martial arts. It's a form of martial art.
In fact, it is a martial art.
Yeah.
But because of the slow movement, it is practiced. It's sort of like for your circulation, for your meridian. Mm-hmm. So they all these grandmasters, they already know about Chinese traditional medicine, which is how to stay healthy, mm-hmm. your meridian, how to stimulate your meridian. That's what it is. Yeah.
Perfect. And by the way, people out there, just to let you know, we have at 7 a.m. Arizona time, of course, the first class with Mr. Keo, exactly Tai Chi. Am I right?
That's correct.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday,
7 a.m. Yeah. And pretty soon, we will start with just local classes for the local residents. We are setting up. We already prepared. We got this high-definition cameras. We will do also classes live web. On the web. So let's say you are, for example, in New Zealand. My friend from New Zealand. I have several friends from New Zealand, or in Sweden, or maybe in Italy. And you say, I would like to take a class with Mr. Keo, but damn it, I wish I was in Kingman. Guess what? You can stay now even on the moon. I don't care where you're from. You can all you need is a computer with the internet, and you can join our class and learn exactly what Mr. Keo teaches here, for a ridiculous price. We're talking about something like $5 a lesson. I mean, it's going to be so affordable that you can have the same type of quality and also hour that normally people has to come here. So, interesting. I'm very excited about that. I believe that some type of training like this can be also done through long distance, like on the internet. Now, other thing, I know also you are a martial artist. I mean, besides Tai Chi, you also are, as you said before, black belt in Aikido and also some other discipline. Like, tell me a little about the Shaolin.
Yes, it's a Southern Shaolin style. I trained that while I was a student for 2 years, and then when I came to America, before that, I also have many teachers. When I was in northern Thailand in the jungle, mm-hmm. I have several old Chinese teachers. They are from Shaolin monastery. But when I came here, I went especially to California to study under Little Nine Heaven Kung Fu School, mm-hmm. Sifu James McNeil, and I learned under him Shaolin plus Xing Yi, which is originally from Wutang Mountain, Xing Yi, which is it's a hard and soft style. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I also studied Iron Hand under him.
Iron Hand is like a conditioning also of your arm, your hand.
Conditioning to toughen your hand so that when you have to use it, it's more effective. Mm-hmm. But I also found out that it's also very good for transferring your energy and you become very healthy because you're always practicing with your fingers, your palm. So it has a beneficial side effect.
Exactly. It's more than just, fighting. It's also about your inner part of yourself. It's as I said, I'm not an expert in Oriental disciplines, but I'm learning, and I realize that beside the physical aspect of your benefit, there is also something that is inside your spiritual, your mental, but also your health, because we all connected. Our body, if it's in balance, will be also in balance and healthy. Now, one thing I want to be sure, in our classes, for example, like our empty hand, real life, self-defense class, we don't have the opportunity to give you like 10 years in the mountains with a Shaolin monk. We want to give you a system, a self-defense system that in just 36 hours, we have the opportunity to show you how to defend yourself. That means in 3 months. That's beautiful because we simplify a lot of things, we make it practical, we made it easy to remember, and that's going to be the curriculum that Mr. Keo and me, we put together. So we have now this class called Empty Hands, Real Life Self-Defense System for everybody. Then we have also a class for seniors. We have a class for women only, and also we have a class for children. So it's going to be very exciting. So please, reassure our students or potential students that they don't come here to become Iron Hand or to become the next Bruce Lee, because they're going to take them probably years. We don't do that. But we're going to give us something that is practical, easy to assimilate. Don't you? That's what we're trying to do, right? We're going to do something that is simple, practical, easy to assimilate, but getting some of your experience of the most, long-term discipline that you learn.
Yes, we have to modify a lot because in the traditional, there's too many moves and it takes too many hours, too many years to master. We don't have that type of time in this modern world, so we make it simple, instinctive, easy to learn.
Perfect. So listen, I want just to say thank you, Mr. Keo. At this point, I'm excited to be here. We'll be here the 17th of September, 12 p.m. If you are somewhere around the world listening to the show, please go to www.kingman-force-on-force.com. Send me an email if you want to join 1 hour classes. By the way, we also have free gun safety classes. We have also free seminars. We have a lot of beautiful things. And of course, beside empty hands and self-defense, we also teach firearms training. That's for sure. Mr. Keo, thank you very much, my friend. And we'll talk again, okay?
Thank you, Luca.
All right, very good. Okay, guys, a little break, and talk to you after this break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna. Do not go away.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. Here we go. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. I'm back into the studio. There was a great interview with Mr. Keo when we were together a few hours ago at the training center. I call it the training center because it's not a gym. Kingman-force-on-force in Kingman. It is not a gym. It is a training center. We train for self-defense. And by the way, beside empty hands, we have also incredible firearms classes. Let me remind you, I've been teaching. I don't even like the word teaching because, I like to share knowledge. That's what I do because I also learn every time. But what I do, I've been officially, performing the role of firearms instructor. And as you know, I don't take that lightly. Every time I do something, I want to give the best and I want to do the best. So a few years ago, I wanted to start to really do training for people, fellow Americans or fellow law-abiding people. I don't care where you're from. If you're a person who believes in freedom, and believe in our system, I believe that America, even with all its imperfections, is the best place you can find in the world. This is me. That's why I'm here. I could be anywhere around the world. I believe America is the place that we need to take back. I believe that people in general, as a human beings, wherever you're from, you have a right. The right to defend your life, to defend your freedom, and defend also innocent. Unfortunately, many other parts of the world, you don't have that right. It's merely a privilege. You don't even have that. So I'm trying to do my best. And when it came down to firearms, a few years ago I decided I really wanted to be the best I could be, to be able to teach these fundamentals. So I certified as a firearm instructor with the NRA as a handgun, rifle, shotgun, self-defense inside the house, self-defense outside the house. And also I am a certified chief range safety officer. I'm also got my license, and I hate the word license, but that's the way it goes. If you want to work and teach to security guards or security personnel, I got my license with the Arizona Department of Public Safety as a firearm instructor. So I do always, everything I can to improve myself. I don't say, okay, I got this, I'm done. No, I believe that beautiful, the progress, the journey of learning is something beautiful, and I enjoy it. So anyway, what we'll do now at the Kingman-force-on-force, beside empty hands and edge weapons and all the different classes for self-defense, kickboxing, street kickboxing, all these things, we also offer, of course, firearms training, and they are really incredible classes. First of all, we have the virtual range simulator, something that I would like to remind you, it's kind of unique. It's first of all, it's like a 120 inches high definition screen with a high definition projector, 400 watts, audio system, pretty realistic. And you see different scenarios like, could be home invasion, robbery in progress, kidnapping, things that, you must decide fast if you need to engage, if you need to shoot or not shoot. And the beautiful thing, they are interactive. That means when you hit the target will go down. It's pretty amazing. And we use like infrared blowback guns. And also, you can also use laser guns. But I like the infrared blowback airsoft guns because they really feel like they're real guns. They're amazing. The weight the same, the fit in the holster, or the rifle, for example, the AR-15 is really realistic. And I like the fact that you have little recoil. So it's very, very realistic training, safe. And also we offer this service with the supervision of a coach, of an instructor. So you don't just go there and blast. We go there in scenarios, we try to learn, and we try to improve every time we go there. So that's one unique service that you will find at Kingman-force-on-force. Then don't forget we have our Arizona CCW classes that I've been doing pretty much with a lot of joy the last few years. And, I also teach them at Against All Enemies. I've been teaching at the gun shops. But now finally I have my own location that I really like it. We have a huge room, 2,400 square feet facility. We have space. We have everything we need. And of course, in this CCW class, I also will integrate for free the opportunity to my student to also practice scenarios with a virtual range. So you can see shoot or no shoot scenarios. The next class, is exactly September the 23rd, in this year, of course, 2018. And we'll be starting at 12 o'clock, by the way. And this is a Sunday. So I invite you to come. It's an incredible class, and I have a special. I like always to give special. Normally we used to do, single mom free, or, I also had teachers for free. This special is different today. I want to give the opportunity to everybody to have the best value for the class and the best price. So bring one pays, and one is free. That means you can pretty much split the cost. It comes down to $40 a person for 5 hours of very intense, information-packed hours of valuable information that you will see. I mean, I'm not trying to put myself on the pedestal, but I have at the end of each class I give also like what is called feedback form, and I have like a 9.9 out of 10 ratings. Okay, so I'm very proud of what I do. I try to do all with the best I can. So don't forget, September the 23rd, the CCW class in Kingman. Then we also offer, for example, for the Arizona Department of Public Safety, we are licensed as a firearm instructor. I'm licensed as a firearm instructor. And I also provide courses for armed and unarmed security guard. If you want to become a security guard in the state, armed or unarmed, you need to go through a course. And one is 8 hours, the other one is 16 hours course. So we also offer that. Then we have handgun training, between different type of, let's say, training. But the first foundation, you must learn the foundation. And we call it the combat handgun for self-defense. And trust me, this is the first class, but it's very intense. There's a lot of great information that normally, I don't want to try to put down the average gun owner out there, but this information you don't see it very often at the range. So we go from safety, of course, but more important, now we start to get into really how to be proficient with a gun, not for target shooting, but for defending your life or defending the life of an innocent. So it's very important. We have classes coming for that too. Then we have Moms with Guns. It's another type of class, very unique. This is going to be all indoors. It's very nice because we use these laser guns. We have the called CERT next level training laser guns. They are realistic guns, but they are only laser. And we have different scenarios that we start to really go through in a force-on-force situation, like, try to kidnap your child, try to, a dog attacking your child, carrying your child in your hand or your arm while you're also holding a gun. The same way, having a stroller and performing self-defense tactics while you're carrying a stroller. Very unique course, very fun. And we make it in a way that it is 12-hour course. It is somehow spread out during the week or the weeks, depending on our schedule. And you're going to have fun learning very unique things that normally you don't. Then we have a class just for women. It's called Handgun Self-Defense for Women. First of all, why? Because first of all, women have a different body type, sometimes also carry guns in a different way. And they need to start to train in that situation. Not every woman is the same, and of course, no women normally are not like men. So we do that type of class we created. And also very important because sometimes women, they feel more comfortable just being among women. They don't like guys around. Sometimes guys, they go there just try to pick up girls. I mean, don't get me wrong. In my classes, that's not going to happen. Okay, we're very professional. But sometimes, a woman, especially if she's married or she has a boyfriend, maybe she doesn't feel comfortable to be surrounded by a bunch of guys that maybe they're full of testosterone. Okay, so we created this class called Handgun Self-Defense for Women. Then coming down, Home Defense Tactics Prevention, the response and aftermath. So home defense tactics, it's a course, and we call it prevention, response and aftermath. That means we're going to try to, in this course, to share all the information how to, first of all, prevent home invasions. And also, if you have to respond, how to respond. And after the things is over, hopefully is over, how to deal with the aftermath, because you have to face also the law, you have to face, unfortunately, a process. So it's a very good class, and we do all this indoors. It's very amazing. We do with a lot of tools that normally they're hard to find. And as I said, we use the virtual range simulator. Also, we use laser guns and real-life force-on-force scenarios, okay? Then we have what is called the firearms cardio. They are really good. I love firearms cardio. It's my idea. This one, of course, like every course, is pretty much out of my mind. And I'm not going to try to say, oh, wow, it is true. What is true is true. Every course at Kingman-force-on-force, it is the fruit and result of many, many hours of hard work, writing the curriculum, coming with idea, try to also fulfill a need. Because I'm always there trying to think what people may need. And I like this because I think that I like for myself too. So give me the opportunity also to improve myself. So anyway, cardio, firearm or firearm cardio, it's a very unique class, very fun. What we do here, the purpose of this class is to train the body and mind in using muscle group essential for using handgun and long firearms for self-defense in realistic scenarios. Now, right now, by the way, I'm reading out of the website, kingman-force-on-force.com. We provide for use safe dummy replicas of handguns and rifles. The instructor will explain each exercise first, being sure that the movements are done correctly, then we'll focus on creating a plan of simulated stress, focus on developing muscle memory along with strength and stamina mixed with aerobic development. So that's the idea. We're going to have fun with simulated, of course, no real ammo and no real guns. They're going to be only laser guns or dummy guns. But we're going to do a lot of practice in things that normally they need to be part of a training. We call it like a dry practice training. So we're going to be just more than jumping around with a gun. We're going to perform and running the gun like it was a real gun. And we start to simulate stress and mass that normally you may use in a real life situation. So then we have force-on-force airsoft, simulated firearms self-defense scenarios. That's very fun because, I have a lot of airsoft guns that I created and now I bought, and then at that point I started to create system or scenarios where you can start to train like in real life with airsoft, like in real gunfights. Normally when you go to the range, you just shoot at a piece of paper. It doesn't run, it doesn't move, it doesn't try to stab you, attack you, or shoot at you. It's just there. You say, oh, I hate it. Great. Guess what? Now it's going to be a little more realistic. You have an opponent, normally it's one of our instructors, maybe myself, that, guess what? It will try to shoot you. It will try to jump on you. It will try to stab you. And you need to start to realize now you're carrying the gun for self-defense. You're carrying in your holster, probably concealed, how really effective you are in different situations. So I think it's very important and also very fun. Then we have long guns training, AR-15 for home defense. I really believe that the AR-15 platform is probably the best platform to defend, let's say, your home. For the average person, think about it. You have, first of all, a shotgun. People say, oh, the shotgun is the best tool. Okay, let me give you a little bit of a case here. First of all, let's talk about over-penetration. Let's start with that. Think about, for example, 9mm slug, okay, for a 9mm cartridge. And then you compare it to a 5.56, 55 grains, even just full metal jacket. And then you compare with, like, let's say some 00, for back shots. There is a test. There are several tests, by the way. I didn't do the test. You can find them on YouTube. You will see that the 9mm slug, it will keep pretty much the all bullet through many, the same type of layers of drywall. Same story, very devastating effect. Over penetration is the back shot. The 5.56, don't get me wrong, it's a very fast round, and it will still penetrate. But the point is, more and more goes through the different layers of drywalls, and then less the cartridge, or the bullet will keep the weight. It will become almost just like a little tiny thing. So, about over-penetration, I believe definitely that, according to the researchers, the 5.56 of the AR-15 platform for home defense, especially if you live in an urban environment where you may have neighbors, or maybe you have other rooms with people living inside the home, like children, probably is the safest solution. But also think about it. Under stress, you have a, let's say, shotgun, like a pump action shotgun, normally with 6 rounds, 5 in the tubes and 1 in the chamber. And you have now, with the AR-15, you have like 30 rounds at least. 30 rounds, you should be able to face almost any type of average home invasion. Okay? You don't need to reload. And also don't forget, under stress, it's pretty much more difficult to control also a recoil, at the same time the pump action, cycling that gun correctly. With the rifle, all you have to do, especially with the 5.56, just aim and squeeze the trigger. There is no any type of recoil really. The 5.56 is very, very forgiving on recoil. So there are a lot of other good things about it. And as I said, this is going to be a very interesting course. New for me, at least. I put it out together, the curriculum. We're going to have it, a kingman-force-on-force. Then combat shotgun for self-defense. Yes, the shotgun, I still believe that it's a great tool if you use at close distance and if you use correctly with training for self-defense. It's a powerful tool. Sometimes even dangerously powerful because, as I said, you can have a negligence discharge with a bullet out of a gun, handgun, and you still have your hand or your foot, whatever. Big hole, but you will still have it. Sorry. If you have a shotgun, a negligence discharge, your foot will be gone. So your leg. So it's very unforgiving. You must train a lot. I think I need some Zanna coffee here. I'm kind of dry in my mouth. Anyway, and that's pretty much just some of the courses. Then I want to give you the free courses. We also have free courses, yes. thanks to our sponsor. First of all, free gun safety class. I've been doing that gun safety class the last couple of years. It's my idea, of course. I created this class, and I wanted to give it to the people around us, to the people living in Mojave County. Or anybody can come to my classes. I don't care where you're from, because I believe safety is important, very important priority. It's the number one priority. With freedom comes responsibility. If you own a gun, or even if you don't own a gun, you may be in contact with a gun. You have the responsibility to be safe and also to make others safe if you can. If nobody knows what's going on and you find a gun in the middle of the street before somebody else may touch it or may do crazy things, if you have a chance, besides calling for help, you also have a chance now to know how the guns operates and how to make it safe. So it's a great class. We have a 3-hour seminar coming exactly, let me tell you exactly when. It's coming very soon, this September. Exactly it is, let's see here, because September the 16th is a Sunday. September the 16th at Kingman-force-on-force. Free gun safety class, and you know why it's free? Because we have sponsors, like private businesses. In this case, it's my coffee business who sponsor this class. This is not like the government. You say, oh, we give you free housing, or we give you free meals, or whatever. I mean, somebody else was forced with tax dollar extorted money to pay for it. Instead here, we as a private businesses, we volunteering because we believe in the benefits of sponsoring things like this. It's a return of images, also a potential advertisement, form, that people say, oh, wow, maybe next time I drink a coffee, why don't you give it a shot to Zanna Coffee since it's paying for these classes? I mean, I think it's a great type of business. And I have other business, by the way, beside my Zanna Coffee to sponsor the next free gun safety class. Last class that I really like is another idea that I put together in the last few months. It's called Positive Interaction with Law Enforcement While Armed. So, 3-hour informative seminar is going to teach you how to deal as a gun owner, of course, in the state of Arizona, how you can interact with law enforcement in different scenarios in a positive way, in a smart way. Also, we want to inform you about our Arizona state laws and federal laws. So, the idea is very simple. If you have a gun, you must know the laws. You must be also a little smarter than the average person. Because when you have the gun, you're very much responsible for also your stupidity. Okay? And we always want to try to get the opportunity to communicate with our officer out there and give them all the opportunity to feel confident around us while armed, while respecting, of course, our rights, the same way also out knowing the laws that we have to obey. So that's the story, guys. For more information, today I know was kind of a different show. Last Sunday, by the way, they replay, that. But I've been working very hard about this new project, Kingman-force-on-force in Kingman, Arizona, 3001 North Stockton Hill. Yeah, I welcome you. Just if you want to stop by to say hi. First, just, if you're on Facebook, PM me, because sometimes I may not be there. But be happy to meet you. And if you have any question, send me an email. Go to kingman-force-on-force.com. You can email me, and I'll be happy to. If you have, let's say, you want to create a class for you. Maybe you have a family of 4 or 5 or whatever. We can create personalized classes just for your family. We do also personalized one-on-one classes. So, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure working with good people that I really enjoy, like mr-keo, and also with the students. As I said, for me, when I work with the students, it's a pleasure because I also learn from you. And I learn not just the skills I'm teaching, because there's always a way to improve, but also I learn your humanity. I learn your stories, and I feel I can reach at the end of the day. All right, now, before I go ahead, I want to talk a little bit about next Sunday. We have talked a little bit during the hour before the first segment with mr-keo about socialism, how it's spreading out, what happened to his former country, Myanmar or Burma, how all that, this violent socialism started to take over. And it started almost like now here, these little violent sects of organized or non-organized groups that at the end of the day there is somebody financing them, the Antifa. Of course, you see there is also an upper class, these politicians that they're already part of this communist agenda. Let's not forget people like, the former CIA director, Mr. Brennan was the communist, registered communist when he was young. So we have them all there lined up. Look at Obama. So this is not just a bunch of kids on the street that they want to try to throw punches and break windows. No, this is a plan, an organized plan to take over this country from within. Next Sunday, I'm going to go in details what's really going on, the threats we are facing, also from China and also from inside, and now why we need to prepare. I'm really fearful because I'm more than fearful, concerned. Because we've seen that, like Mr. Keo was saying, we've seen this type of planning and episodes many other times around the world. And now America, I really think and I fear that is going to be the next to face this wave or red wave. The communist takeover of this country, what the New World Order needs to completely destroy this republic and on its ashes create this global tyranny. You've been listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna. If you want to support the show, I appreciate it. I need your help. Support the station, K-Talks, and also support me as a producer. You can go to www.zanna.us and download any of my songs. You can find my songs on Amazon.com. You can download my books and, of course, Zanna Coffee. That's the way we make business. We don't force anybody. We ask you and we thank you. I hope to see you next Sunday. Ciao.
If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude than the animated contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. The line in the sand, you know the time is coming. The line in the sand, are you going to watch while we're fighting? The line in the sand, just tell me now where you're going to stand. How much more you're gonna take it? How much more you're gonna fake it? Now you decide what you'll do when they come. They'll come for you.